Thanks to Sana Skin Studio for supporting the No podcast. Sana is a skin studio that is shifting the relationship with your skin and your products through goal-driven facials, real guidance, and clean skincare. Stay tuned for our promo code so you can receive $25 off of your first facial at Sana Skin Studio. Welcome to the No podcast with me, Nikki Spo. Welcome back, you guys. You are listening to The No, and I am your hostess, Nikki Spo. If there's anything that I've had to really learn to do in motherhood, and there's a lot that I've had to learn, it is to try my very best to find a balance and to show myself grace in the process. Now, food has always been an area of frustration for me. I don't cook. I can cook and I do it fairly well, not like gourmet stuff, but I can make a few decent meals. The reality is I don't really like to cook. I don't enjoy it. And fortunately, that has never affected my relationships. I don't know, maybe secretly there were hopes that I would not cook. But even though not cooking didn't affect my personal or home life before kids, once I did have kids, it did become an issue. And the thing is, I really love a family mealtime. I think it's important on so many levels. And now that I'm a mom, I want my family to have healthy, delicious, inspiring meals. I've always said that one of the best things that a new mom and a new family can invest in is a meal delivery service for the postpartum stage. No one has time to cook in the throes of new parenthood, and you really just got to eat whenever you get a quick moment in to do so. That said, I never wanted to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all day long. I love a PBJ. I wanted to, but those never made me feel good and certainly were not like the healthiest option for me. So I've tried every option under the sun. I've tried the grocery boxes, various meal delivery services. My family splurged on a personal chef at one point, and we cook like a tiny bit and order in a lot. That's really kind of like the way it goes. Like we cook a little tiny bit, but we order a lot. And I really wanted to change that. There are so many different options for various preferences and budgets, which brings me to today's guest, Diana Arango. Diana Arango is a Colombian-born and raised entrepreneur. She started her career as a lawyer advising her family business, which then turned into an absolute passion for creating businesses that solve real problems. That's what this episode is about today, is like solving problems. Now, for Diana, after living for more than 12 years in the US and as a working mom of two, she knows firsthand how hard it is to juggle work and family responsibilities. 2 years ago, after being exhausted and rushing from work to cook, only to realize that many other people were struggling to find time to cook also, Diana decided to create Chefpost, which is an online platform where people can book a chef on demand to cook the meals for the week or for special occasions and help you save time and enjoy doing what matters the most. Diana, welcome. I'm so happy to host you today.
Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to see you here.
I'm so excited. So first, tell me about your company, Chefpost. What exactly is Chefpost?
Chefpost is a one-stop platform where you can book personal chefs on demand to cook for you in the comfort of your home. Either the meals for the night, the week, they can meal prep for the whole week or for special occasions. So it's just, our mission is to make your life easier and better with someone that you can just book and enjoy delicious food at home.
How many chefs do you have in your rotation?
We have currently 50 active chefs.
50?
50.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
Yes. There's a lot of people in South Florida that needs this service.
So why are you sending chefs to homes rather than like having them deliver? Like, why aren't you delivering the chef prepared meals, right? Like, because you hear a lot. I love meal delivery services, for example. You know what I mean? So like, why did you opt to send chefs to homes rather than having somebody prepare the meals behind the scenes and then deliver those chef prepared meals to your clients?
Yes, so there are different reasons. The first one, because we want to guarantee the best quality of food that you can have.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with the travel, like food travel, sometimes not every food will maintain or keep the same quality. So when you cook something homemade in your home, you basically cannot beat that quality with a meal delivery, no matter, even if it's from a restaurant. Sometimes you order from the best restaurant in the world, but by the time the food gets home, it's not the same sometimes. So it's not even the restaurant or the chef in the restaurant's fault, but it's just the way food travels. So the way we intend to do with all the chefs cooking in people's home is, first of all, to do the best, to show the best service, because that's also part of the experience, to have someone at home that you can customize your meals the way you want it, with the spices that you like. We have two options. So people can book a chef to cook with your own ingredients, if that's something that you are very particular and you want people to use your own groceries. So that's an option, just a cooking session that they come to your home and cook with whatever you have at home. The other option is that they shop the groceries for you. And most of the times, if it's not all the time, it's organic food. So that's also another differentiator with many meal delivery companies, that of course the quality of the groceries the chefs buy is what you expect or what you want to basically feed your family. That's one. And of course, the meal delivery companies for families, I don't know how sustainable or practical that is, because of course you probably need more quantities, and everyone has different tastes, etc. So with Chefpost, you can basically personalize every meal the way you want it.
For a new mom, I'm always like, I don't know if I want people in my house cooking, right? Like that was definitely how I felt with my first baby. Obviously, no, I'm now expecting my third. By the time I will have her in our life, by the time this episode airs. But like now that I have other kids to feed, I'm like, doesn't seem like such a bad idea, because here's the thing, like the meal delivery services, in my opinion, they're like really geared towards adults. They're not so kid friendly. And there's some other meal delivery services out there that are amazing, that do like amazing kid meals. But then you're like all over the place, right? Like, look, the simplest solution is like cook yourself, right? Like you can cook the meals yourself. The reality, and like I don't know if you know this about me, Diana, is like I hate cooking. I hate cooking. Like it stresses me out. Every part of it stresses me out. Like that's just me. Right? But why should I still be consuming home cooked meals?
Yes. So, incredibly enough, for example, I like cooking. I have
You
no
do,
problem cooking. Yes, and I cook well.
which is
But
why you have this business. You're like, I love to cook. I'm going to make a cooking business.
no, but I don't have the time.
You don't have the time.
So actually, the way Chefpost started, it was because I was burnout. I was a working mom, and I was coming home to cook. I had someone helping me with the kids, but of course, sometimes they don't cook all the time. So
Right.
it's like, no, I cannot continue this life. The kids want to enjoy some time, quality time with me, but I'm just rushing home to give them something nice. Of course, you can always have nuggets and everything, but you cannot have that every day.
Right.
So it became a struggle. I saw that many moms, clients, friends, everyone was having the same issue. Like, what I'm gonna cook today? Oh my God, I run out of ideas. I want high quality. I am not gonna order, because of course I'm not gonna order food for my family every day. So I thought, wouldn't it be amazing to have like an Uber for chefs that you can just book on the go whenever you need it? Of course, you can book every day, every week, but you also have that flexibility to book whenever you need it, because to hire a chef full time
It's
for a
expensive.
month is very expensive.
We've done it, by the way. Like, I've tried everything. I really have tried everything. And as much as I've loved having like an in-house chef, and like I'm so lucky that my husband was like really supportive of that, because he wanted to like clean up our family diet, right? Like just in general, would stop ordering out so much. Like it's really expensive.
Is really expensive. So these will cut that, like, I don't know, 90%, because it's someone that goes to your home once a week or twice a week if you want every single meal cooked. And they leave you everything super prepared in your home. The meals and the menus, it's very homemade taste. That's a different thing. So it's like basically if you cook it yourself, well, a little bit better. But that's the quality of food that you're going to get. And that's why even people that like cooking will enjoy this type of service, because of course cooking every single day is crazy.
And then you have like, I mean, I don't know about you, but it's like just frustrating. And so the time, the limited, especially if you're a working parent, like then the limited time that you have with your children, you're like annoyed and frustrated because you're trying to do so many things. And I think like Diana, I'm sure you can attest to this, but the days of having women do everything is there. We're not doing that anymore. We're not like,
Yes.
we can wear many hats, but we don't have to wear many hats. Like
I-
there's a lot of beauty and power in delegating, saying like, I'm delegating this task. You know what's more important to me? Being able to spend time with my kids. And like I have this saying, Danny, like you can have anything, but you can't have everything. Like you really can have anything you want in life, right? But
yes.
like I hate this idea that we have to have everything all at once, you know? And what are your thoughts on this? Like it's like maybe for some families it's like, okay, I'm going to spend this 3 months during back to school and I'm going to invest in this chef service, right?
Yes.
So that I can be a better mom, especially like as the fall holidays are happening and back to school and all these things. And then maybe like down the road, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to let go of the chef for a little bit. I'm going to do the cooking. Like there can be ebbs and flows. Like you don't have to be committed to one thing forever and ever and ever.
Exactly. And I think we learned when we created the concept of Chef Post, we wanted, it was like 1 month before COVID hit.
Mm.
And we realized that with COVID, you never know the future. So to have
Yeah,
a
that's
huge
right.
commitment for a month, when you never know, you might get sick, you might travel. So that flexibility is one of the huge pluses that you have at Chef Post. Of course, you can join the VIP club that you have a recurrent service, but still, it's like you have options, and that we are very customer driven, making sure that we have the service the way you would want it to be.
Yeah. So what did you do before you started this business?
So I was working real estate. In real
Okay.
life, I always say in real life, I'm a lawyer. I'm
Okay.
originally from Colombia, and I went to law school there. Then I went to New York to do my master's. But here in Florida, I was working real estate.
And how did you decide, like, did you stop working as a lawyer completely to pursue this business?
Yes, well, I stopped working as a lawyer the day I moved to US to do my master's degree. Um, I did some consulting for businesses in New York, but yes, no, I basically stopped doing real estate, which was the activity that I was doing here in Miami, the day I decided to go all in with Chef Post, and this is like my full-time job and a little bit more.
Sure, I bet. I bet. So was it scary? Like having to
Yes,
like starting a
it
new,
was.
not having to start a, but like getting to start a new business, but then like saying, okay, oh my gosh, like what are we going to do?
Exactly. Yes. Well, I started businesses before in Colombia, so I had some
It's
experiences,
amazing.
yes, doing startups or new businesses. But that was also a reason why I said, like, I'm gonna get into an. I know how much work it takes to build a business or a startup from scratch. Is a lot of work. I was like, I cannot believe I'm doing this again.
You're like, why am I doing this to myself?
Yes, but I always felt like, I mean, energy driven, like universe, and everyone. I swear to God, everyone was asking for this. I don't know why they were asking, but do you have someone? Do you have someone? I need someone. I'm worried about cooking all the time. So I thought to myself, no. I mean, if
Like
there is
I'm going to
someone
solve
that
your
has to do
problem.
this, it's me.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that you received the call.
Yeah.
You were
I
like, all of
swear.
this is falling into my lap. Like there's a reason why everyone's coming to me. Like, do you know someone? And you're like, oh my gosh, I have a solution to this problem. Like I'm going to answer the call. I think that's such a beautiful thing that we all need to pay attention to.
And no, and there is another good story about this. So when the concept started before COVID, and then COVID hit, and I froze like with my co-founder, who is my husband actually. I said to him like, this is crazy. In the middle of this chaos, that we're gonna start a business. Who does this? We are just nuts. And then I saw an episode on 60 Minutes, and this is why I say the universe speaks to me in this way, and they were interviewing a chef, and she was crying, saying like, I'm losing everything. The restaurants are laying out chefs. They had this chef had also a catering company, and of course, no one was booking her anymore. And it was truly, I was kind of crying in this episode, and I said like, if it's just for the chefs, we're gonna build this platform where they can have bookings and services, and they can just get jobs in their own terms. And this has been part of our mission to make, I always say, to make people's lives easier and better, and that includes also the chefs, because it has improved their way of living and the way they earn money.
That is so powerful. That is so powerful. And it's crazy that you happen to see that
Yes,
episode, right? Like that
yes.
exact
So
show
actually,
while you're considering this and you're like, the chefs need help too.
yes, yes, and that was, I say, okay, we're doing this no matter what happens with this pandemic.
That's amazing. So everybody wins in this situation.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
talk to me about planning and scheduling, like, and your approach to time blocking, because it sounds like, well, this is like one of the most stressful parts for me is like, it's not even so much like the cooking of the food. It's like the prepping and the planning and the thinking and the concept of it. Like that, that's really hard. So what is your approach to like time blocking?
Yes, and the kitchen cleanup to
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yes. So we are all busy. I realize that moms, especially, we are multitaskers by nature.
Yes.
And but I mean, it can take a hit on your health, on your body, on your mental health too, because
100%.
you're gonna be frustrated, and then you get frustrated with your kids or your husband or your partner, and it's a whole mess. So I've been intrigued by how to be more productive and efficient with the time you have without going crazy. And one of the ways or methods that I use myself with my own activities is to do time blocking. Because if you do everything at the same time, it's also bad for your brain. You
Yeah.
lose memory when you start doing everything at the same time. So,
Right.
one of the good ways and my approach of time blocking is to, I go excessively with the time block. I block every day for specific tasks. So even with my family, and my kids are into that. So they know that when they wake up, they have a time blocking that they can have breakfast. They go like a little robot. And then you go and have your shower, and then you just leave. And then when you come home, you do this, and this is the time for play, for homework, for eating. And the same way, we have to do the same as parents and as adults. Even if you don't have kids, you have to have certain times for everything, and try to be more present to things. And the way you time block is just assigning different themes or tasks to your life. So in your lifestyle or personal life, is just to have time to enjoy with your family, to have to sit down and enjoy your dinner, to work if you're working. I mean, I work a lot, and my kids know that this is the time that mom is working, and we all know and agree on that. And as a businesswoman or entrepreneur, I also time block my days. So I have certain days that I do meetings, and I have
Okay.
days that I never do a meeting, because of course it's distracting, and I have just to produce and get creative and strategize and then create things in my way. Of course, I'm a creator in the business side, but yeah, just time blocking in different things and days. And with marketing, I have a certain day that I dedicate to marketing, to operations, etc. So that way I don't go crazy, because we all have so many things to do, and if we do all the things at the same time or the same day, is not good. It's not efficient and effective.
That's something that I'm honestly, Diana, I'm learning also as a new entrepreneur. Like I don't have any experience starting a business, zero, zero. And so now like just starting the business of the podcast and a person of influence and a content creator and a full-time mom, like it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. And I find myself like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I do what you say, that's not good, right? Like I'm like I try to do all the things in one day instead of just like compartmentalizing, like this is the day that I'm going to create. These are the days that I'm going to record episodes, which I've actually gotten a lot better about, like the blocking episodes. Like I actually now I only record like I on a Monday, Wednesday or Friday, right? Like I don't ever record on a Tuesday or Thursday, like very rarely, unless like I have to. But I definitely think that like that time blocking, especially for kids, is really valuable. Like I know that, for example, like my kids now, like they get home from school and I've started to like dedicate. I'm like, this is like wind down snack time. Like we're gonna wind down, calm our bodies, have a snack, and that's gonna be 30 minutes. And then we can play for another 30 minutes. And then we're gonna start like doing some activity, that's
Mm-hmm.
going to last whatever, whether that's going outside for a walk or like it is super helpful to get organized. And I have to say, like, especially when I became a new mom, it's like it's really, really hard because the days blend together, right? Like, I don't know if you've ever felt like this, China, but like sometimes it feels like the days blend, just like you're like, you're like, oh my gosh, it's the weekend already, or oh my gosh, it's Monday already. How did we get here? Like, I don't even know what I accomplished. Like there are days where I'm like, what did I accomplish? Like you'll ask me, how was your weekend? I'm like, I have no idea, guys. I have no idea how my weekend was because I was just like going
Exactly.
without thinking, and that can't be good.
And that's another thing. It's about prioritization too, because sometimes we all have to do lists, personal,
Yeah.
working, in so many things that can go, I don't know, a list of 50 things to do. But if you stick to at least three that you have to do per day,
Right. Like this
then
is my priority. These are my three priorities
exactly,
each day.
exactly. And then instead, because otherwise you're gonna get stressed out too. If you see the list, and of course, it's not humanly possible to do the whole thing in
Right.
10 hours, 24 hours, whatever. You're gonna be freaked out, and then you're gonna move that to-do list to the next day and to the next day and to the next day, and you are never gonna finish. So just having three top things that you have to do every day that probably are related with that activity that you have assigned to that day will make a change.
This conversation is so good, but before we keep going, I want to take a minute to thank our sponsors, Sana Skin Studio. The best way for me to describe Sana is that it feels like coming home. Unlike traditional facials, Sana's facials are rooted in education, and I love this so much. Every experience I've had at Sana has been a chance to learn more about my skin and its needs. I love that the facials are effective while also being accessible enough to be a monthly ritual rather than a yearly splurge. I'm honored to be able to provide our audience with a promo code. Use the code THENOGLOW for $25 off of your first facial at Sana when booking via sanaskinstudio.com. So like this is a really good practice like to start thinking about, especially like approaching a new year, right? Like how to maximize on the new year. And like, I think one of the things that people get really overwhelmed with too, Diana, and you could tell me your thoughts on this, is like you get to a new year and you're like, I'm going to do everything different. Like I'm going to like change my life around or whatever it is, like these resolutions, like the concept of the resolution. And sometimes it's not like about changing your whole life around and just making small attainable changes, right? So if that's like setting the three priorities for your day, like that's a small change that can have a huge impact on your life.
100%. 100%. So much better. And also, that includes personal things like working out,
Yeah, right. I
meditating.
was thinking that too.
Yeah, it's like not everything has to be work or everything has to be kids. You have to
Right.
do things that are important for yourself too.
Right. So it's like if I'm the type of person which I don't work out every day, but like some people like that they need to do that, right? Like for
Me.
their mental and emotional well-being and their physical health, like working out is like a very high priority item, right?
Yes.
So if that's the case for you, you're like, okay, working out is one of my three things that I have to do in the day.
Yes. Yes.
That
Yes.
has to happen, right?
Has to happen.
Right.
100%.
So how do we, okay, so we do this. How do we like look for assistance? Like obviously the Chefpost is providing a solution in the chef realm, in the food
Yes.
realm.
The
So like
food,
how do
right?
we actually get the help we need and then delegate the tasks that take time and energy? Can you give us some examples?
Again, going back to what is priority for you. So if you are, for me in particular, of course, besides job and everything, work, spending quality time for my kids is a priority. I want to be present. I love them to death, and they know, and they are super supportive of Chef Post. They like it very much. Also,
How old are your kids?
one is 7, and the other one is gonna turn 4 in a month.
That's awesome.
Boys, love my boys. So, and I think that they also need time for them. I mean, they like to play by themselves and they want to be independent and everything. But that, for example, that time that is typically the between 6 and 7, 5 to 7, that is between food and having time with them. For me personally, it's better to enjoy time with them than to have a nanny that can watch them, right? So I prefer, for me personally, to have someone that cooks instead of takes care of them. Now, if for you it's too much to be with your kids, which is totally fine, respectful, no judging, no judgment here, then maybe it's better for you to hire or get help of a nanny or that can
Family
spend
member.
time, a family member. Exactly. So getting help, I think, is important for our well-being, no matter if it's a chef, a nanny, a family member, even your, I don't know, husband, partner, or a friend that can
Yeah,
maybe
that guy, the person who's like supposed to be in it with you.
exactly, or
Yeah.
a neighbor even that can sometimes maybe pick up your kids. Who knows, you know? I mean, sometimes as moms or women in general, because we have a lot of customers at Chef Pool that are just couples, no
Mhm.
kids,
Okay.
and it's okay that we cannot do everything. I mean, I mean, technically we could, but of course it's gonna take a hit somewhere else.
Right.
So I mean, don't do that to yourself.
Right.
So get help in any way you can. Try to see what's important for you to do in person, and don't delegate that. That means a lot to you, and delegate other things that will make your life easier and better. There are so many tools nowadays. Of course, now Chefpost is the platform for the cooking needs, but then you have nannies, you have people that can pick up your kids. I don't know, you have to also, if you're a business, there are virtual assistants too that can help
Yeah.
you. So you just have to prioritize and see where do you need the help the most, and what things do you like to do less.
And like in a parenting world, like just to keep it real with the listeners right now, like one of my least favorite things to do is, I know this, I don't know how this is going to sound. I don't really care because I just speak the truth for myself. I like hate bath time. I hate bath time. I don't know why. I don't like to do it. I prefer to like sit down and eat a meal with my kids than to do the bath time. So it's like,
Yes,
sometimes if my dad is over, like to help me, or if my husband's home for like bath time, I'm like, you got bath, man. Like I will delegate the bath. I'm like, anytime I have the opportunity to get out of doing the bath, I'm like, I'm out, guys. I'm out. That's my time. I need like 30 minutes to not think. You know?
100%.
But then I have friends who are like, I hate feeding little kids.
Exactly.
I hate feeding them. I'm like, I'd rather have a nanny feed them the meal because it like drives me crazy, and then do the bath time where I get to talk and play and whatever, like do all the
Exactly.
other things, you know? So
It's
everybody
your
has something
personal.
different that they're either like willing to do or not willing to do, that they prefer. And it's like, okay, like it's okay.
It's okay.
You don't like bath
Exactly.
time. Like it's okay if you don't like bath time. It's okay if you don't like cooking. Like you're not a bad mom. You're not a bad person. Like you show up and you be fully present in the ways that you can, and your kids, your spouse, your friends will appreciate you for that because you're
Yes.
all in.
Yes.
So
100%.
how important is it to just take time for ourselves, like even if it's just like 15 minutes of meditating or working out or journaling?
Yes, I think you're gonna present yourself better with your loved ones, and even for you yourself. Again, going back to if you're burnout, a recent study just came a couple of months ago saying that 66% of parents are feeling burnout. And that's exactly why, because we do everything and we don't stop to think, okay, what is important for me and what I like. Let's say for me, for example, I work out every single day in the morning, and I think I do that. I have done that since I am 16, but I realize that is more for my mental health. It's my endorphin thing. And even my husband, when I don't work out, he's like, "You are moody. Did you work out?" I say, "No, I couldn't." So those are the things that for me is workout. I'm trying to. Oh, so sorry. To go into meditation, I find it super super hard, but I think I have to do it because my brain is like going too much. So I think that one thing that I have to start prioritizing maybe for next year resolution, and stop, like, again, to walk out your dog for 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be an hour. And again, workout, I work out 30 minutes a day because I don't have time for more. You don't have to do things 2 hours, 1 hour. You don't have to meditate for, or what's important, to take a bath. It can be just 10 minutes. Whatever is important for you, just do it, and not once a week, once a day.
So I actually had like a big issue with the whole working out thing, like from me, like in my head, where I was like, if I don't work out for an hour and if I don't sweat this much, like I have to burn this many calories. And that was making me crazy. It was to the point that like I would say, oh, well, I don't have time to do it for an hour and I don't have time or I don't have the energy to like get that sweaty. So I'm just not going to do it. Right. So I went through a phase where I was like, okay, I don't have time for an hour long workout. I'm not going to do it. Then I started to shift, especially like because I have a Peloton and I don't Peloton when I'm pregnant, but it's like so uncomfortable for me. But like I love the Peloton and I love to do the exercises. And like that was a game changer for me because I could do like a 30-minute Peloton workout and kick ass. Or like if I only had 20 minutes, you know what I mean? Like a 20 minutes moving my body was better than 0 minutes moving my body. The same thing with meditation. Like there's days where I can't like, and not just time wise, but like psychologically, I'm like so amped up and I have so many things on my mind. But if I just like sit down and I even give myself 2 or 3 minutes that I put a timer on and I just practice breathing, I'm like, that was better than not doing it at all. And even if it wasn't 10 minutes or 15 minutes, or that's like kind of like my sweet spot. I usually like meditate for 10 or 15 minutes, like personally. But like, even if I didn't get to do it for 10 or 15 minutes, like that 3 minutes, I'm like, okay, I did it. And I feel better for having like made the effort for myself. Like, and sometimes I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, okay, the workout sucked, the meditation sucked, but you know what? I still showed up for myself.
Exactly, exactly. And that changes the way you feel and the way you think. And it's just a break. We need to have a break. And sometimes we are just eating on the go, doing things on the go without just breathing. And I mean, I'm now saying this and I'm always on the go, but I do try to take some breaks.
Well, it's an act of self-love, right?
Yes,
Like it's an act of self-love to say, you know what? Like I see you. You serve everybody else. Like I'm talking to myself. I'm like, Nikki, you serve all these other people. You serve your 3 humans, you know, your
yes,
husband, your dog, your friends. You serve all these other people. You take care of so many things. Like you can give yourself these 20 minutes of exercise and you can give yourself 3 minutes of meditation. And that's because I love you.
exactly, exactly, exactly. And that will reflect in so many ways. Like now people are having adrenal fatigue, and it's
I know.
not necessarily related with food. Of course, food is huge. This is why now we are pushing the organic ingredients and all the meal preps for the chefs, but also how you sleep, how many times you sleep a day, how many, if you had some activity, physical activity. So it's just having a break is super important.
Now, I also, before we close, I want to talk about food's impact on the not just the body, right? I think like we get wrapped up in this idea of like just the physical, right? Like, and then we start to feel guilty if like the diet culture. I just did an episode about diet culture and how toxic that can be,
Yes,
especially for
I
women, right? Like,
yes,
but
listen there.
for a lot of people, like this idea that we have to deprive ourselves from things that are delicious, you know, and like sugar. I just had somebody, it's funny, you know, I did this give back opportunity with Dunkin' Donuts
I saw
where they're
that, super
giving
nice.
to pediatric cancer awareness month in September. And I had one follower on Instagram like wrote me this long message about how could you partner with Dunkin' Donuts? All the sugar, it's so bad for people. It's giving people cancer. Which, okay, like, let's be real, like that. There's some validity to the fact that like sugar is it's a highly addictive substance, right? Like you think about the fast food and how horrible it is for our bodies.
Mhm.
Like, but ultimately, like I think everything in moderation. Like nobody's saying like go eat a box of donuts every day.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
but we should be, we're allowed to have a donut. Like, I am allowed to have a donut. I'm allowed to have a slice of cake. I'm allowed to have, you know what I mean? And I think that there's like this whole culture of like, you can't ever have these things.
Yes, yes, 100%. Yes, I am a huge believer on having quality food, but not restrict yourself because again, that will stress you out and you're not gonna enjoy anything.
Well, the
So
point of life is like to enjoy it, right? So enjoy it in a way that's healthy and good for your mind, body, and soul. And sometimes that includes like indulging in something, a delicious dessert that's your favorite. And maybe that's a
exactly,
gourmet flan, or maybe that's a gourmet souffle or whatever. And maybe it's a donut or like your favorite cookie. You know what I mean? Like that
yes,
brings you joy. And that doesn't mean you have to have 12. Like it just means like,
exactly. And I'm a huge believer on being like be mindful of what you eat during the week and try to have some breaks again, time to eat guilt-free during the weekends. And the same applies with my kids. My kids are super healthy driven during the week, and on the weekends they get their donut. My little one loves donuts, loves, it's their dream, is his dream. So I give him a donut once per in the weekend, and it is,
and
I
it's
know
okay.
it's not the healthiest thing in the world, but it's okay. And I
Right.
also, it's important to raise kids as parents that they can understand the limits, that you cannot get addicted to unhealthy food or fast food, etc. But it's okay to eat that once in a while, and
Right.
nothing bad is gonna happen. No one is gonna die. No one is gonna hopefully get any bad things. So just once in a while, and just to add, finally with Chefpost, that's the good thing, that if you have a dietary restriction, because nowadays the truth is that gluten, dairy,
Yes.
and those things do affect, is the reality.
No,
It is.
absolutely.
So, but you can eat healthy food that is gluten free or dairy free, whatever, that is very delicious and tasty. Healthy is not just salads. And
Right.
these chefs, I mean, they are crazy with the things that they do, and they are still healthy. So eating should not feel like a sacrifice. You should
I
enjoy
love that.
eating. It's one
Eating
of
should
the,
not feel like a sacrifice.
exactly. It's just it's a pleasure of life. You are feeding, nurturing your body. It's not just the eating and eating for the sake of eating. Think and be mindful again of what you eat and consume. And this is why we realized that if we wanted to make people's lives easier and better, that includes having quality food and organic when it's possible, when it's available, of
Absolutely.
course. So
Well, Diana,
everything is like a circle and is related.
totally.
We have also to be flexible in life. There's no other way around.
Diana, thank you so much for sharing your journey and the solutions that you're providing for people everywhere. I'm so excited to get to try your service, and I'm just like I feel like this was a very real conversation about like how we can handle life in a very practical, efficient way that is set up to make everybody involved just feel good and better and really content.
Yes.
As content as possible. So I appreciate your wisdom and your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you.
This podcast was brought to you by Sana Skin Studio. Be sure to use my code, TheNoGlow, for $25 off of your first facial at Sana when booking via sanaskinstudio.com. More than a skin studio, Sana is a movement towards healthier skin and self-love. Thank you so much for listening to The Know. If you loved this episode, go ahead and share it with a friend. Words are so powerful, and someone may need to hear what we covered today. And if you really loved this episode, please take a moment to rate the show and leave a review. Your comments are so important and valued, and they give other listeners insight on what to expect on The Know. You can connect with me personally via Instagram at Nikki Sap Spo and The Know with Nikki Spo. My hope for you today is that you are fearless in looking inward so that you can be your highest, most authentic self and go after the life of your dreams.